Welcome back to Open Road for Two. This is Mylene and Randy. We have our friends here. This is Brent and Christy with
Van Hollen.
Van Haulen. You know, if you're a regular to the channel, regular subscriber, we travel in a 3rd gen Tacoma and a 5th gen 4Runner. Well, we want to share that adventure is just not with a truck, a Jeep. You can do a nice, cool adventure van, and our friends here are going to give you a tour of their van, Van Haulen. Let's get into it.
All right, first off, Brent, I got to ask, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Boy, it's tough, but it's probably David Lee Roth. I mean, I married a school teacher, so there's something about that hot for teacher that's always been with me since the beginning.
Gotcha. Assuming that's why,
Yeah.
I mean,
So when it starts, you got to name the thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I have so many friends with so many great names. It's like, what are we going to do?
yeah.
And we kind of went with the idea that our van and we're hauling around town, and so we kind of put that all together. And I'm an 80s kid, man, and it's all the
Yep.
hair bands and rock and roll. So that's
Perfect.
kind of where this came from.
So we want to get a little tour of it, and first off, we're talking it's a Ford Transit.
Yeah.
What's the nuts and bolts on it?
So in the community, we would call this the 148. So it's the long wheelbase. It's the high roof. So we're almost 6 foot still inside, and we don't have the extended. There is a version that has a little bit more of an extension over the back wheel. This would fit in our driveway. The only reason we don't have the longer vehicle.
Okay.
But that's kind of that's the platform we started with.
And are we EcoBoost or are we?
We went with a 3.7. I got the air cleaner. I put an exhaust on it, MagnaFlow. I look at it. Maybe I can work on it. I don't know about cars anymore. The
Right.
EcoBoost was like maybe one more thing that could break, but everybody's loving them and they get great gas mileage.
So talk about what'd you do suspension-wise for this? What kind of upgrades? Because I mean, we were following you in here, and we were pretty impressed with how it was taking the dirt road.
I'm just going to put out mad props to Van Compass. They put together a 2-inch spring lift for this. I have the shackles in the back. Went with the Bilstein shocks, and man, it lifted it, but it also just gave it so much better ride. I feel like going down the road, it handles better. The other thing I've added were the Sumo springs. This is like a weird rubber type of product that goes in there and just keeps it from rolling too much, and so that's probably what was keeping it from rolling too much. Helps with the wind, but I still have that suspension when I need it, so that works out good.
Awesome. Yeah, I see you got the KO2s on there. The good rich KO2s.
Yep.
So,
Between that and the black Rhino rims, those are kind of the go-to combo for this vehicle. You got this weight rating that you have to meet on this, so you have to make sure that the tires are doing that 9,000 plus gross vehicle weight standard for that.
so I see it looks like you've done a Rhino liner here, or
Yeah, so we just went in and kind of sprayed that down there. It was kind of scuffed up again. We bought this as a used vehicle, used cargo vehicle. Didn't have a window, didn't have anything here, so it was just a tin can. My wife will call it a tin can when she gets talking about it. But we went through that, added that, and then we went with the roof rack. I call it de-FedExing. I didn't want my van looking like a FedEx vehicle running down the road. So when I got the roof rack, that's the Flatline Vanco rack with a Fiamma awning. Just works flawlessly. We've really been pleased with the way that all came together. And then on the front, I don't know if we want to go, yeah. On the front, we went with a carbon fiber wrap on the hood, and that again just helped de-FedEx it so that I didn't get pulled over and asking if my package was in and stuff. So, and then we put
the delivery's late.
Yeah.
Where is it?
People get a little upset at you.
Yeah.
But then we added a ladder to the side, and that allows us to get up on top of our rack. I mean, well, we're trying to get a whole deck built up there.
Okay.
And so we're in the process of getting those parts. We'll probably have some solar up there running to help support our Goal Zero and everything that we have inside.
Okay. So inside you're running a Goal Zero.
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, we have the Goal Zero 3000.
Okay.
We have it also with a two battery setup. So we have two AMG batteries, so we can switch to the battery, or we can go the opposite direction and go to the Goal Zero.
Oh, nice.
And it has worked really well.
Okay. And up here, I see you've got a light. So just a regular.
Yeah, stuff you can find on Amazon sometimes
Yep.
is amazing. I would not say that it is the highest quality product on the market. It's not a bumper, it's a light bar, but I think it looks nice. And when we were driving through I-70 at like 2 in the morning on our way to Moab, I lit it up because there's all these deer and elk and everything else out there. So
Absolutely.
it felt a little more safe.
Yeah, it's definitely sharp looking. We met earlier at a restaurant in town here in the village, and we saw you drive by, and it was just a striking looking vehicle. That's for sure. Like everything you've done to it, it just looks great. You definitely de-FedExed it.
All right, good.
So tell me about the ports you have here. I'm assuming.
Yeah, so what we have here, this first one's our shore power. So this way we're able to plug in. That also allows us to charge our Goal Zero, or we have 120 inch sites we can plug directly in there. And then this was for our solar. We're able to plug in, we have a suitcase solar panel. So the idea with solar is kind of difficult. You either put it on your roof and you have to park in the sun to charge, or you can park in the shade and run out some panels to the side. So we went this way so that we could do that. We just thought that might be a good option down the road for us.
Absolutely. So this is sharp looking spare tire carrier. Who makes this one?
Yeah, I went with Aluminous on the spare tire. They also have some boxes that down the road we'll probably get. I just think they have a great product. I like the way it's actually tied into the vehicle and not just hooked onto the door.
Yeah.
So it feels like, because these tires are not light.
Right. No, absolutely. It looks like a nice setup, and it leaves your hitch free too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, well, do you want to look inside?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is the inside. We built it out like a garage. So we have two mountain bikes. There's a barbecue there in the back corner, and all this stuff is on pull-out trays, so you can get easy access to it. In this case, or on this side here, we have two paddle boards, inflatable paddle boards, and then we have our bike gear, climbing gear, shoes, access to that. We have lights back here, so we can get into it at night, and then we also have a shower, outdoor shower here, that we're able to plug in right here, and that way we can take a shower back here, rinse off, knock the dust off the bikes. And one of the problems, I don't have any controls right here, but I do have a pump. So right here's how I turn the water pump on, and that's how we can control everything from the back. The other thing we were able to do with this configuration is we have 21 gallons of fresh water right here in the side panel. We're able to fill it up from the outside. I have like a little slot in there so I can see how much water is actually in the tank. And then the rest is all just storage on both sides.
Now, was that a custom-made unit for this van, or is it just you were able to buy it as a production?
Yeah, it's just a production 21-gallon tank off of Amazon, and then in the building of this, I built this all out to kind of fit that and work it together.
Nice. So this is your first addition to the van with the bottle opener?
It was the first thing I put on the van. I came home.
Necessities.
There was nothing else in here, but I had that.
Got a bottle opener.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, Christy, one of the things that I get asked all the time in our adventure rig is, where do you go to the bathroom?
Oh, I have to tell you, that was a concern of mine, and that was one reason I did not want the van in the beginning. But compromise, we did get a toilet, and in the cabinetry that Brent built, we have a cabinet that opens up, and we can pull out the drawer. Oh. And it's on a base, and it gets a little sticky to pull out, only because when it comes out, it's on a solid base. It is a cassette toilet, so we have water in it, very easy to use. It stores well and very easy to get rid of the waste.
So the other question is, when it is time to go, do you have some privacy in here, or do you kick Brent out, or does he kick you out? What happens?
There are times that I have kicked him out, but what he has done to build a little bit of comfort is we took a curtain and put snaps on it, and then we also put snaps up in the ceiling that if we wanted to, we could hang the curtain, and then I have a little bit of privacy.
All right, so where does the magic happen? Cooking meals. I see the wine rack right there. Tell us a little bit about this setup.
All right, well, Brent built the galley all on his own. We did the galley, as you mentioned earlier, the 21 gallons of water. And then we built it for a sink, and we put in a new faucet and everything. And then in the galley, where the water is underneath, we have shelving and then access to the water underneath. And then, of course, everybody has a trash can, and that was one hard thing for us. But we found a little trash can on Amazon, of course, and then it just attached it to the door so that we're able to throw things away. And then we also have our drawers, and we have the magnetic locks, since we keep some of our pots and pans and accessories in the drawer. And then, as you mentioned, a little touch that Brent did with the shelf with some wine glasses, which is nice after a long hike or just hanging around the campfire at night. And then something else I can show you is the Dometic refrigerator we have. And I'll go out here because we can open it from inside or outside. And we built a rolling drawer for it and locks that they come out. And then it just opens up, and we're able to get into it inside from either outside when we come back from a hike or a mountain bike ride, or inside.
And which model is this one?
This is the Dometic 30.
Yep, the CFX 35.
CFX
35.
35.
And then to use some of the space that we have in here, just because we're short on space, is we built a shelf down here that holds our induction oven for cooking. And so we're able to put the induction oven up here. We use the pots and pans that are specific for an induction oven, and then we just bake away or cook away.
Cooking with a view, right?
Cooking with a view, yes. And then Brent, of course, did the countertop with slabs of wood, sanding them down, gluing them together, and more sanding, and then varnishing them.
All right, tell us a little bit about these cabinets. They look pretty sharp. They're nice and flush with the bulkhead here.
One thing we did is we have a friend who owns Lost Highway Customs, and we went through him. And I'll kind of start over here on this one. He builds the shell, and so it makes it like a DIY project. So we brought the shell, we mounted the shell, and then we built the doors and mounted them, and they match the cabinetry of the galley. And then they also, the doors, we split them so we have 3 sections. And this one is where we keep our food when we're traveling, so it's like a little mini pantry. And then the other 2 also have the magnetic hooks, and they keep our clothing when we're traveling, or shoes for a day trip or anything like that. One thing I need to show you that we did do when we open them up, sometimes you need both hands, so we put on a nylon strip with a snap, and we're able to snap it into the ceiling, and it holds the door open. And so we've done that on all of the doors. And then the other cabinets over here, they have the same magnetic clip, and then and it gives us more storage. And then we also wrapped it in the carpet that we have on our walls in the van, so it just made it kind of just one continuous look for the van. One thing that we added, and I wasn't too sure about it at first, but I actually find it was a great addition, is we did this bulkhead, and Brent ordered the brackets on Amazon, and then it came with a pattern, which was awesome to fit the Ford Transit. And we traced it on wood, cut it out, and again covered it with the carpet that we have on our walls, so there's even flow throughout the van. When we want to eat, a lot of times we have, during quarantine and COVID, we've kind of just gone up the mountains, pull over on the side, open up the doors, and eaten lunch in here. We've had dinner. We have a lagoon table that turns, and we can turn the front seat, and so one of us can sit there, or we can both sit on the couch. Either way we want, and we can raise it to the height that we want. We also have this little couch that we have, and we have the base built, and then we ordered actually lawn furniture cushions from Amazon, and we had Fox upholstery cut it down a little bit for us, and then just redo the upholstery on it, and so now we have our couch. The great thing about the cushions are they're waterproof, they're stain proof, and they're made out of the umbrella material. Another addition that we did to the van is we did kind of this pantry like thing. And so we have the door. It was all made by Brent. Same wood that we did the counters and the doors on our cabinets is that we built like a pantry. And we used white chalkboard. And then we have our daughter who has great penmanship write different messages on the chalkboard. And it opens up and we have our shelving to hold our towels. When we're traveling long distances, we put more food in here, our plates. One thing that Brent did to convince me right away that the van was a thing is he bought me a single Keurig. He's not a coffee drinker, but I am. So he bought it, but it was getting stuck. So what we did is we built this shelf that lifts up a little bit so I can pull it out without it getting stuck. Along with the pantry, we built just a little countertop. And then we have the cabinet, like I mentioned earlier, for the toilet. But we also have a couple of storage drawers with a magnetic lock that holds cleaning supplies, different warmers when we're in 18-degree weather, like we were in Zion. And then we have two of them, pulling out games and just bathroom stuff. So just little storage areas kind of thrown here and there, tucked away. All right, well, we have a tall bed. It's 36 inches off the floor of the van, and we did that for the garage in the back. But one thing is, because we're not tall, we had an issue of getting up onto the bed. So Brent found these Jeep steps on some site back east, and so we installed them into the wood, and we now have a great way to hop into the bed. Once we're up the Jeep steps and onto the bed, you can see we're not real tall people, so there's enough room. We can sit up without any problems at all. And we lay sideways, and it's a queen size bed. We have a Tempur-Pedic mattress, 6 inches, for a little bit of comfort while we're sleeping. And to go along with the theme of the wood, we built a shelf above him to hold our Kindles, our books, our phones, whatever we need to do. We have these little Velcro cargo pockets just to hold little things so they don't go flying when we're driving, and easy access. One thing we also put was this light that we can use at night. It's a touch light. One touch and it turns it on. And a lot of these are rechargeable batteries, so we have the access to be able to do that and just tap it again to keep turning it off. And then we attach a little fan for on some nights that it's a little bit warmer. We can turn that fan on for a little bit of breeze. One other addition we added to the van was this Max Air fan. And so what's great about this is that when it gets a little stuffy in the van, we can turn it on and it will pull the warm air out. And then we can also turn it on and it will put some cool air in. It was a great asset to the van to keep us comfortable when we're sleeping. One great thing we added underneath the cabinet above the galley and above the couch are these lights, and they are magnetic. They're LED and they are touch where you turn it on and can light it. We've gone a couple trips in the van, and we have a big trip planned over the summer that we are going through many states. And so one thing we have is this metal sheet behind the sink for splash guard, but also to collect small license plates to show the states that we have traveled. And hopefully this summer we're adding about 25 states that we'll be driving. Be sure to come back and check us out to see how many states we did go through this summer.
So how long have you guys had the van?
It will be 2 years, June 19th.
And what would you say in those 2 years is your favorite adventure destination?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
We've had day trips that we've enjoyed. We've had week trips. I think I might say the trip we did to Arches in Moab is one of my favorites, and ending in Zion.
That was fun, but I think even Zion, between Christmas and New Year's, it
good.
snowed, and we'd never been to Zion in the snow, and it's a whole different place in the snow. It's a lot colder place in the snow.
And what would you say for anybody looking to build their own van? Any tips or lessons that you've learned along the way that you could share to somebody that's going through and doing the same thing?
Reach out to the community. Really start making some friends. Ask questions. I'll tell you, there's not a perfect layout, so you got to do the layout that's going to work best with your needs. And as soon as you're done, you're going to wish you did a different layout. So just go with the layout you have and be happy with it, because everything you do, you're like, I could have done this better. But I think that's the benefit of asking somebody who's already built it, is they can give you the pros and cons, and that just gives you a little way to work through the process.
I think I would say that if you're doing it as a couple, do it together. When we first started, I wasn't crazy about it. He brought home this shell of a van and turned it into this, and I thought it's his project, it's his. But then I realized we were doing different things, and the more I started coming out, I started helping him work on it, understanding his vision, and I would just say doing it together would be a great tip.
When it comes to camping, we're like all over the place. I just boondock it. She likes to have
I
a
still need
shower.
a toilet and shower sometimes.
Yeah. And then the harvest host has been nice because, you got wine, and we've been doing that with other couples, which kind of makes that a fun experience. We haven't done like a stop at Walmart, but, that may be in our long travels here this next year. We've usually just been to campgrounds and stuff like that.
Using the app Dirt
Yeah.
to just find a spot when we're in an area and we don't know it, and it will tell us areas that are free or available for a quick night. And then Harvest Host isn't actually a place, but it's a website you go through, and different wineries, breweries, distilleries are signed up under them, and you just sometimes have to agree to purchase something from them, which is easy to do.
We hope you enjoyed our tour of Van Haulen, and we hope to see you on the open road.